कोई सवाल पूछना चाह रहे हैं आप AWS के बारे में, माज आप सवाल पूछ सकते हैं। लेकिन देखते हैं कि क्या वो सवाल इस काबिल है कि उसका जवाब दिया जा सके या नहीं दिया जा सके, लेकिन आप सवाल पूछ लें।
Okay.
अच्छा
Let's
सर,
start.
मैं जाऊंगा सबसे पहले सब लोगों को म्यूट ऑल कर रहा हूँ,
Okay.
और फिर जो है वो सर जिया को जो है वो म्यूट ऑन करूंगा। अच्छा, बाकी लोग भी अपने आप को म्यूट ऑन कर सकते हैं। मैं आपको जो है वो अलाउ कर रहा हूँ कि अगर आप कोई भी चाहे तो वो सवाल कर सकता है अपने आप को अनम्यूट करके। सर स्टार्ट करें सर। सर आप म्यूट हैं, आपको अनम्यूट करना पड़ेगा।
Hello everyone. Let's get started, and let's talk about programmable money for the API economy. Now, before we get started, let me tell you what API developers and other developers will face problems in Pakistan and other developed countries. There are two major problems which we are trying to solve. Number one problem is, how do developers pay each other? In the rest of the world, they use PayPal and other stuff, but the problem with that is that PayPal is very finicky. First of all, they are not allowing money transfer to Pakistan. And the second problem is they can stop payments anytime they want. This is called a centralized application. The second problem which API developers face is the investment they require to start a company is not there. The angel investment is not there, funding is not there. So therefore, what should we do? For the API economy, we need some mechanism of cross-border payments, number one. Number two, we want some way in which we can arrange investment for API developers so that they can fund their startups. These are the two problems we are trying to address. Now, how to tackle it? We are lucky. When we started this thing, blockchain has somewhat matured, and in the next 6 to 8 months, it will completely mature. Now, let's see how do we make payments using the cryptocurrencies. The problem with cryptocurrencies is that if we use Bitcoin to make the payment, the Bitcoin is fluctuates so much that if I have to pay someone 3 Bitcoins, it can be 150,000 or it can be 50,000 for 3 Bitcoins in a matter of few days. We need a stable coin. For a stable coin, the best one is DAI. It is an Ethereum-based stable coin, which is basically excellent and very easy to use. We are going to demonstrate to you how we are going to use DAI to make payments from one developer to another, cross-border. Actually, most people don't know it yet, but the technology is already there. We don't need PayPal, and this is called decentralized applications. The advantage is nobody can, if I want to send a payment to anybody, nobody can stop me. It is a very powerful tool. Therefore, the first thing we are going to talk about is DAI. And the second thing we are going to talk about is how to raise investments. How we are going to discuss that, how to raise money for startups, for funding. But right now, we'll take the easy way out. We are just going to talk about payments. Let me share my screen with you. Let's see. I'm having difficulty in finding the. Let me just give me a second. We are going to talk about programmable money, and
Sir Zia, do you have any difficulty sharing the screen? Maybe because of you are not a host.
yes, maybe.
But I guess share screen should be in the bottom or top of the screen.
No, I'm doing that, trying to do that.
Okay. So while you are sharing, there is a question for you, sir. Could you sum up the idea you shared regarding this cross-border new cryptocurrency?
Yes, we are going to talk about it in detail. I'm having some difficulty in sharing, getting the screen. Why don't you share it?
Okay, I can share.
And I'll ask you whenever I want to change the screen, I'll ask you to do that.
Okay. Sir, I'm sharing the screen for you. So
I think what you have to do is your desktop is coming in on top of it. We want the presentation on top.
okay. Sir, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
And
So
let's go to the first slide.
yeah, wait a minute. This is sir, the first slide.
Okay. Now let's get started again.
So sir, now you whenever you need to change the slide, you have to
I'll ask you
call
to do
me.
it.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Okay. Now the thing is, let me repeat again. Right now, most Pakistanis and most people, even the programmers, don't know another tremendous technology that appeared on the scene, which gives us tremendous power to transfer money cross-border in a second without asking anyone. Now, how do we do it? The second thing is, for the API economy, we want not only cross-border, but we want programmable money. We want something which we can program and send. I'm going to talk about it in detail. Anis, could you change the slide? Now, first thing is, what is programmable money? And for programmable money, we have to understand that normal money, for example, you buy $1, it is in physical form. Programmable money has to be in digital form. It is some way of representing money in digital form. We have to find a way. Now, in order to do that, in the last few years, a new technology has appeared on the scene, which tracks all the money. For example, if I say, let me give you an example. If I say, I have a long number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this number is equivalent to $1. But what's the problem with that? The problem with that is anybody can, once we see the number, anybody can replicate it. How do we make sure that number is unique? And we have to find a way to track it for this digital money. There are two things. First, we have to find a way to make it unique. The second one is ability to track it for this digital money. And for tracking, we need a blockchain. I'm going to describe blockchain in detail. And for making the money unique, each dollar unique, each account unique, so that we can track it, it is public and private key encryption. There are these two things which makes digital money possible. Let me repeat it. I know this is a tough topic. Most people have difficulty in understanding it. First thing is, how do I tell you, how do I tell the world that I am a unique person and I am the owner of this money? First of all, how do I identify myself? We are going to cover it in later bit. It is public and private key encryption. Think of it at this stage before we go into detail. Every person will have two keys. One will be a private key and one will be a public key. Public key will be announced. Everybody will know that what is my public key. Therefore, if I want to write a paragraph and tell everyone that Zia Khan wrote this paragraph, what I'll do is use my private key. It is a pair. They work together. Whatever I encrypt using my private key, you can decrypt using my public key. So therefore, any page I write, I'll encrypt it using my private key, and everybody has my public key. They will decrypt it and using my public key, and if it's not being decrypted, I have not written it. So this is basically a concept of public and private keys. The second one is blockchain. The second point, note in the slide, the digital currency is tracked with corresponding electronic ledgers, more popularly blockchain, enabling a transaction record that is public and securely shared. The ledger should preferably be based on open source software to promote sound governance and to keep the programming interface equally available to banks and other participants. I know most of you would not have understood anything. Let me try it in my own way to explain it. Now, you have to understand what is a blockchain. What we are trying to do. Most people try to memorize the definitions of blockchain and it won't do, because you won't be able to understand what is happening. Now let's see how to do it, how to explain to you in a concise way what a blockchain is. Imagine if I wanted to keep a ledger. What is a ledger? Accounting of my money I have. Let's see, I tell you, I have $100. I've given $20 to Anis, $10 to Shahrukh, and so on. This ledger, if it is kept on a computer, the problem is both the hard drive and the memory, the technology we use, you can overwrite it. Anis bhai, I load in my ledger that I gave Anis my money $20. Anis is going to say, go to my computer, and he might change it to $30. How do I make sure that it cannot be changed?
Sir, this is a very general problem, especially, for example, if I go and get some credit from my nearby shops, I always have a doubt that is this this credit is right or wrong, because it might possible that he update his credit ledger even on a paper in a different way, or maybe he did not cut off the amount that I've already paid. For example, the balance was 700, I paid him 400, and it is possible for him that he did not adjust that balance and keep that 700 in his ledger book. So that is a very normal scenario.
Yes, it's a very normal scenario. Now, what we want to do is, understand, my friends, all of my friends, what we want to do is, we want to create something on computers which cannot be changed. You cannot edit on blockchain. That is the objective. Now, how to do it? One way, because you can change my memory, I can change my memory, I can change something written on a hard drive. Let's assume that all of the people who are listening to this class have a copy of it. Now, Imagine if we have a copy and we keep it synchronized. Any one of you changes it, all the rest of the people will tell you that this, you are not being honest. So therefore, we need a peer-to-peer network. What is a peer-to-peer network? Everybody on this class, in this class, we want to write something down which cannot be changed. We'll have a synchronized copy of that file on their computer, which is being synchronized and connected to each other, that this was the first transaction, this was the second transaction, this was the third transaction. This is called a blockchain, the connection. And every one of us will have a copy which has been synchronized with the other. Nobody can do any hanky-panky. But there is a problem, which is called in technical terms consensus. But in easier terms, if I want to add another transaction, first of all, in a blockchain, there will be transaction number 1, then transaction number 2, then transaction number 3, and everybody will have a copy. Nobody can change it. Because any of you, of course, there's a way that we can change it, because if 51% of the people get together and try to change it, then there's another case. But we are not going into detail. We are not going into too much depth. What we are trying to do is, if we are limited number of people, let's say Anis and Shahrukh want to change the ledger. They can't do it because there are too many people on the blockchain and they have copies. They will tell you, please don't do it. They won't allow it. Now, that is the first way of doing. But the problem arises, how do we add another transaction? This is called consensus. We are not going to, how do we agree, all of us agree to add a new transaction on the blockchain? This is the consensus problem. Bitcoin uses proof of work. Ethereum also uses proof of work. We are not going to go in detail how to basically resolve this issue, that we make sure that a particular transaction is added to the ledger which is correct and valid. Ethereum is right now moving from proof of work to proof of stake. I'm just giving you a vocabulary. We are not going to cover this because at this stage we are just understanding what a blockchain is basically. So therefore, blockchain is, Anis will have a node, I will have a node, Shahrukh can have a node, which is basically communicating with each other, and all of the nodes will have the same copy. And there is a consensus mechanism of basically adding a transaction, which we are not going to go in detail at this stage. Anis, did you understand it a little bit?
Yes, sir. I have a scenario. You can confirm me or suggest me that in this scenario, can we implement some sort of blockchain type of things? For example, I am a wholesaler and I have a different sort of retailers. They are selling my what could I say, products, my products. They are selling my products. For example, Daraz is selling my products, or lot of people selling my own product on their websites, on their mobile application. The problem is I want to change my product price from price A to price B. If have a traditional or legacy system, I have to update everyone that my price has changed. Please update in your websites. So do you think that the blockchain approach could help me in this regard?
I think what you have just mentioned is not a trust problem. You are the owner of that business. You have a right to change the price. You can, of course, send all of them an email or whatever. The problem is, you understand what the blockchain addresses, which I have not discussed so far, is the trust problem.
Okay.
The problem is, in your example, you are the central person who is making the decision.
Okay.
So therefore, blockchain does not. Blockchain. What is the beauty of blockchain is that if you do not trust each other,
Okay. Okay. Got it.
and we want to have, imagine this, we want to have a ledger, common ledger, that everybody is using. Imagine there is a bazaar, a marketplace where there are 50 buyers and sellers. They want to maintain a single ledger which tells everyone who owns what to whom. Now, this is a blockchain problem. Because if you keep the book during my night when I'm sleeping, I'll think Anish is changing it.
Yeah. That's possible.
I don't, of course, I trust you, but in most businesses, people have a lack of trust.
Yeah.
So what blockchain does is it addresses that issue of lack of trust.
So after that thing, I would be very much sure that the information I contain is never been changed by someone who has supplied that information.
Yes, yes, yes.
Sometimes importance of information is also important. For example, someone provide me some, for example, some student or some person who want to work with me, it provides some information, and I'm sure that that information would be changed.
Imagine this. I'll give you another example. History. You know, each nation changes history as they like it, as they go along. So what we'll do is we will keep the history of the world on a blockchain that nobody can change it. Now let's go forward. Anish, could you bring the next slide? Let me revise.
Is that
Could you
the
bring
right one? This is
the
the
third
right
one?
one, right?
Just the third one.
This is the third one.
Yes, you're not clicking on it. It's not changing on the right side.
Okay. Now?
It's not appearing. I think it's synchronizing slowly, but I think it, because you go to the slide section and then click on it on some area, it is still showing that you're.
Which slide you are getting? It's not an automated payments. This is the third slide.
No, I am seeing a second slide.
Okay, you are still seeing the what programmable memory. This one.
What is programmable money? We have already covered it.
Okay.
We need
now.
It is not automated payments.
Okay. Is that right? Okay. Once
No,
again.
it's still showing the same thing. Why don't you go ahead and show the click the present button?
Yeah, I have done actually at my side.
Okay.
I'm stop sharing once again and
Okay,
sharing it again.
no, perfect. Now I got it. Yes, thank you. Now, somebody will say that what is so special about blockchain? You will tell me what's so special about blockchain. We already do it in the banks. What it's saying is programmable money is not the ability to write arbitrary code that can move money using the banking API, even if it includes complex business logic and external data as part of the decision making. If I write a program, if a bank gives me an API, the Citibank gives me an API, Chase gives me an API, I write that API and I transfer money using the API. Is it programmable money? No. Why? Because bank has a right to refuse the payment. They can stop it anytime they want. Look at the third point. In each of the above cases, of course, the bank could actually hold back the payment even after they have received the payment instructions. I tell the bank, please send Anis $500. It might refuse due to any reason, maybe legal, maybe any other way. So therefore, we want programmable money where I have total control. And as already discussed, blockchain provides us with that technology. What we are going to do is, hopefully today, and if not possible, next class, I'm going to, Anis and Shahrukh are going to show you how to basically transfer money using DAI and all the rest of the stuff. In the end of the presentation, the slides are there. Now let's go to slide number 4. What they are saying is, in slide number 4, what they are saying is that our main characteristic of programmable money means that no matter what, the code instructions will be carried out and no bank or intermediary can stop it. The second point, stable coin like DAI are controlled by smart contract on Ethereum achieves this. Now let me explain it to you. What is a smart contract? A smart contract is a piece of code, nothing else, which is running on all the nodes of the blockchain. As I already mentioned, everybody in this class will be using and having a node of the Ethereum blockchain.
Sir, there is a question on the chat that people want to know what is DAI.
Is a coin, money, just like dollar. We are going to discuss this. First, let me discuss the smart contract. Smart contract is a piece of code which is available on all the networks, all the nodes of the network. In this case, all the people in the class are the nodes. That code is always there. Everybody has it. If I tell it to run, please, with these parameters, everybody will run that code and validate that the end state, the end result is this. So therefore, there is no way the code does not run, because everybody on this network makes sure that the code is running. So this smart contract on the Ethereum blockchain, you are able to create a new kind of currency called DAI, which is a stable coin. $1 is equivalent to 1 DAI. Both of them same. And DAI, by definition, always, the problem with Bitcoin is that the price always changes. The price of DAI never changes. It is always equal to $1. How do we make sure that the price of 1 DAI is always equal to $1? How do we make sure? We make sure that $1, 1 DAI is equal to $1 by the smart contract. What it does is, if you think about it, don't have to go into detail, that the smart contract, the code makes sure that whenever the price of DAI increases from dollar, it makes sure that the price is decreased. And if it is decreased that less than the dollar, it increases the price. We don't have to go into detail. Just understand the concept that DAI is dependent on a smart contract on each blockchain, which will always execute and make sure that the one DAI is equal to $1. Now,
hello, sir. I cannot hear you. Hello.
Sir, we also cannot hear it.
I guess, sir, Zia have some audio issue. Let me check. I'm trying to get him back again until we will have a pause. During this time, you can ask some questions and discussion. If you have some point to discuss, you can even raise your hands and discuss with us live if you have a mic at least.
Sir, re-explain.
Okay, while sir Zia are coming.
I'm back. I think I got.
Okay, that's great. Sir, while you are back, there are some questions in your chat that somebody asked that dollar is not always stable. So what would happen if dollar price increases? How it will impact on DAI price? This is the question number one. The second question is that some people want to sum up the idea that how blockchain could build trust regarding data security to our clients. He's not talking about the trust of the data change in the data. We want to read how the privacy of the data would be established in this because the data is somehow available on a different mode.
Anish, we can see your chat. Let's
Okay,
do it one by one.
Okay.
Now, first of all, the question is misrepresenting the facts. First question is that the price of dollar changes. The price of dollar changes in relation to Pak rupee or any other currency. It changes. Of course, it changes. But we are talking about the relationship between dollar and DAI. It never changes. Whatever $1 is equal to one DAI, more or less with few points of difference, 0.007 or something, sometimes. So therefore, the relationship between, it might change because dollar and rupee might change, but dollar and DAI never changes. Therefore, the price of dollar depends in relation to DAI never changes. Of course, it changes to rupee or it changes to the pound or changes to the yen, but we are not talking about that. Now, what is the second question?
Second question is that regarding the trust, there is the other issue. For example, change of data or information is a concern, but I guess the questioner want to ask that what about the security and privacy of the data?
Okay, the security is assured because it's on a ledger, it never changes. But the privacy is that all the numbers, it never, on the blockchain, you never say that Zia Khan has $20. It says account number 679747877777 has just sent money to 146789. So therefore, if you keep changing your account number, nobody will ever know who is sending money to whom. But if you keep on using the same account, then it might be a problem. Somebody raised a hand. Let him. Yes, go ahead.
Sir, if somebody knows our public key, so he can track our transactions, like we have sent something to someone.
That's what I'm saying. If you create a new account, if you keep on sending the same public key or account ID, then it is a problem. But if you keep on changing your ID, which a wallet can do, nobody can find out.
Okay, sir.
I
Go
want
ahead.
to add something. As far as I know, in using public key, you cannot have direct information regarding my data, because it requires private key. Public key only used to send data to me, the owner of the private key, so I could decrypt data, or in vice versa, you can use my public key to decrypt data which I have sent. So it is not possible. This is
What our friend was saying, that, for example, if I send you Anish from my account to your account, the public key is connected to the account key. So therefore, if you know, Anish, what is my account number, therefore the next time I send it to my girlfriend, you will find out who I'm sending. But if I change my account and next time I send it from another account, nobody will know. That's what I was saying.
So, sir, for transaction in crypto, we always changes our account, or always changes
It depends. It depends. The wallets are built for this. If you want to keep it private.
Raza, I guess you should hold a minute. So soon, Sir Zia give you details about the multiple wallets and multiple. It's a part of our presentation. So let's proceed to the presentation.
Okay,
so
okay.
After that, you can ask your question.
Okay. Okay. Let's move ahead. Let's move ahead. Let's move to.
This is the next slide, sir.
No. We are on slide number 4. I mentioned stablecoin like Dime on permission blockchain do not achieve this. Now there is another competitor that is going to come in the next few months, which is Dime. Facebook is about to introduce it. But the problem with that is that you have to first understand the difference between permission and non-permission blockchain. In a non-permission blockchain like Ethereum, anybody can start a new node. But on a permission blockchain, without the permission of Facebook, I cannot join that network and process those transactions. So therefore, Dime is not decentralized, but DAI is decentralized. Nobody controls it, not the American government, not the CIA, not the FBI, not the Pakistani government. Nobody controls it. But if I go with Dime, which is another choice, Facebook, in the next, right now you don't know this thing, but in a few months, everybody would have heard about Dime. So therefore, but the problem with that is Dime is that it's centrally controlled by a few companies. Now, let's go to the next slide, slide number 5. What we do is now we can create money using smart contracts in Ethereum. Now we can create money where the money itself has control logic built into it. It is done at the smart contract level. Nobody can do anything to it because everybody has a copy of the smart contract. Everybody has a contract record of the blockchain. So therefore, nobody can play with it. A smart contract is typically a bunch of code that is run by all participants in a blockchain network. It defines the characteristics of the money and how users can interact with the money. Everything is in the code, and the code is visible to everyone. The data is also visible to everyone, and everybody has a copy, therefore nobody can mess with it. So therefore, the problem as we go forward is designer money, and I know the governments are very jumpy, as they should be, but now it is out of the hands of the government and into the hands of the public, where it should be. Let's move to the slide number 6. We have decided to use DAI, and I think it is ideal for the API economy. DAI is a stable coin cryptocurrency which aims to keep its value as close to $1 United States dollar as possible through automated system of smart contracts on the Ethereum blockchain. Anish, could you please change the slide number? Make it slide number 6.
Yeah. Sir, we have a raised hand by Tariq.
Yes, Tariq, go ahead. I think he made it. Maybe he have raised the hand by mistake because he's not saying anything. Let's move forward. So DAI is the ideal cryptocurrency for the API economy. The second point is DAI is already powering the digital economy where people are bypassing banks and other financial firms to transact directly with another. Now understand this. I'm not sending money to somebody using a bank. I am directly sending money to Anish. Nobody is in between. Nobody can stop it. What I do is basically, when I send money, I write it on the blockchain and everybody knows the money has been sent. DAI can also power the API economy where it will allow the developers to directly transact with one another. And also you can program it. You can add any piece of code you want to it because you know the smart contracts will work. Yes, Faisal.
In short, what I got the idea that DAI is basically money for transactions, not an asset class like Bitcoin. Am I right? DAI is only for transactions and
Actually,
the value.
If you want to conserve the value equivalent to relate it to dollar and don't want to change it, it's perfect for that also. You can what
not
you
for value.
Faisal, what
not for value.
Think about it. It is not for speculation. That will be the more accurate one.
Okay, got it.
Achha, Faisal, I want to add you something. What is the importance of transaction here, which Sir Zia want to mention here? Is very simple. For example, you want to send money to me. Okay. So because of the DAI, you can send that money in a certain form of coins directly to me. But currently you have to involve an intermediary, for example, EasyPaisa, for example, bank account. And for example, you want to send me $1,000. So while sending $1,000, you have to not only to involve a intermediary bank or something else, but you have to pay charges for that particular transactions. So just because of that, you always be concerned about certain or face about certain charges, as well as you are always worried that that transaction has been successfully completed or not. For example, there are two banks involved. your bank is bank A and my bank is bank B, you will order your bank to send that amount to my bank, and there is a possibility that either your bank system or my bank system have some issue and money could not be reached out timely. So DAI will eliminate that thing and directly provide a system that you can provide me data, money or amount, anything directly to me. Sarzia, am I right?
Yes, perfect, perfect. On the dot.
Thank you. Thank you.
Faisal, your hand is still raised. If your question is done, please unraise it. Okay, let's move forward. How? Now the question is, let's discuss DAI in a little bit detail. How can we create a money DAI which is always has one-to-one correspondence with dollar? How is it possible? One way of doing it is, which is not the DAI way. There are other things, other cryptocurrencies we do it. I keep DAI in a bank. Sorry, I keep dollar in a bank and then issue a DAI on the basis of that $1. Let me repeat. The first way of making sure that one cryptocurrency is equal to $1 is that I keep a bank account, and in that bank account, I keep, it might not even be a bank account. We keep a safe deposit box, and in that I put dollars and the equivalent amount of DAI I create. This is one way of doing it. Now, who is going to tell me what is the problem with that? Anybody? Yes, Syed.
Sir, originally we wanted to avoid third party.
Your sound is too low.
Originally we wanted to avoid third parties to handle our transactions, and in this manner we are involving the banks, which we wanted to avoid, I think.
Perfect, perfect answer, Syed. What I'm saying is, in that case, it's not a question of bank. It's a question of trust. Who is doing it? Please tell me, if I tell you that I have the equivalent amount of dollars in a bank, would you believe me? I might be just telling a lie. I have no money in the bank. And the second thing is, bank can always confiscate it. In our age, nobody trusts even the governments. How are they going to trust me? Blockchain is a technology to create trust where there is no trust. It's a trustless environment. Nobody trusts each other, but still they do business. That is the beauty of it. Because everything is assured by programs. Therefore, what we do is, there is another cryptocurrency called Ethereum. Let me explain it. Ethereum is the main currency for Ethereum blockchain. Ether, we call it Ether. Right now, it is about, its value is about $2,500, roughly. It can change. It can be 5,000 or it can become 500. That's the problem. We can't use Ether for making payments. I promise you to give you 2 Ethers, which means $5,000 in a few months. In a few days, it might be just $4,000 left if I give you 2 Ethers. So therefore, what we do is, DAI is nothing but a smart contract. What we do is, let's say I want to create DAI. What I'll do is, I will put my Ether in a smart contract and it will hold it for me. And it will give me a DAI as a loan. So therefore, what I do is, I tell my smart contract, please take my Ethers and give me a loan in DAI. I place 2 Ethers and it will issue me 5,000 DAIs. if it's 2,500. But it will not do that. I'll tell you, it will be less than that. But just to first get the explanation started. So therefore, what will happen is, if I start building, give the smart contract, he will hold my ether. But assume the ether price drops. Now, $5,000 DAI, which is a loan on Ethereum, will be equal to 4,000, which will be less than the dollar. You have 5,000 DAI, which is equal to $4,000, which is wrong. How do we ensure it? The smart contract, first of all, if you give me 2 ether, it will not give me 5,000 DAI. It will give me only limited DAIs. Let's say it will give me 3,000 DAIs. If the price of ether drops, what it will do is ask me to deposit more DAIs, or it will liquidate my position. So therefore, by doing this, it will always make sure that they have enough funds, enough ether holding in the smart contract to make sure that at least it is equal to 5,000 DAIs. So therefore, 3,000 DAIs. Therefore, whenever I give $5,000 equivalent ether, that is 2 ethers, it will issue me 3,000 DAI less than the ether value, and always make sure that DAI value will remain at 3,000 DAIs, which was initially that price. You don't have to understand it in extreme detail, but you have to understand the contrast. So therefore, I'm just going to repeat. The protocol allows lenders to lock up their funds. Lenders is that I put my ether funds in ether, any other crypto asset, through a smart contract on ECM, and guarantee the issuance of new DAI tokens in the form of loans. The DAI token is a form of loan, is a currency which I will hold. My ether will be the collateral, which is a collateral, will be in the blockchain, and nobody can touch it unless I return the DAI. The required deposit is greater than the value of the token. In contrast to other crypto assets, it minimizes price volatility and trades on crypto exchanges. Anyone can send and receive DAI without the need for their third parties in a peer-to-peer method. It is decentralized, resistant to censorship, and trustworthy. At the end of the class, this presentation, or maybe let's see how long it takes to go to the next level. We are going to, Anis is going to, and Shahrukh are going to show you how to transfer money using DAI. Any questions? Please raise hand if you have any questions, then we'll move on.
Sir, there are certain questions on chat. The one is that people are, what is the software between these smart contracts, or what the other question is what smart contract are used to transfer funds?
Okay, you are never going to directly work with the smart contract. You are going to use a wallet to do it. Start installing MetaMask on your computer. It's a wallet. It is a Chrome extension. You go to your Chrome extension, just MetaMask and install it. It will take a second. And we are going to send money using MetaMask later on. Any question?
Sir, another question that there is an issue or concern that if there would be no intermediary or controlling agency, so how the police or other sort of agency would able to crack down against illegal people or illegal money?
This is the problem of the police. Why should I solve their problems? I'll solve my problem. You are saying that if I might be murdered in my bedroom, so therefore I'm going to put a camera, police camera.
Sir, we lost your voice. Sir Zia, we lost your voice. Okay, guys, again, we lost Sir Zia